Fighters expeditiously rise to mixed martial arts superstardom. But how about Alex Pereira? Crosses over into mixed martial arts from kickboxing and essentially takes the sport by storm.
By storm, John. I mean, so fast to go from a guy that was what can be to the champion. But when you possess this level of skill, when your kickboxing is second to none, and then you train with Glover and you develop wrestling defense, you know that you have a chance. Pereira not only had a chance, he took it all the way to the title, and tonight, he looks to get another victory.
He's seemingly a perfect mix of intensity and composure. He has heart, championship medal, Alex Pereira, the total package. We're certainly glad he's here in the UFC.
Let's keep it up.
Pereira has graced the octagon. He's ready to go. Well, he is the best mixed martial artist that the nation of Sweden has ever produced. Former two-time UFC light heavyweight title challenger Alexander Gustafsson, and he hasn't realized the UFC title yet, but I know you guys will always have UFC 192, one of the harder fights of your career.
One of the toughest nights that I've ever had in the UFC, and Alexander Gustafsson showed in that night that not only is he skilled, he's as tough as they come. From the war with John Jones, to the war that him and I had, to some of the biggest victories that he stood and he's won in the octagon. A very, very skilled striker with fantastic boxing, unbelievable footwork, and very, very underrated wrestling. One of the only guys that can say he's taken me down and also taken John Jones down in a championship fight.
He really is the total package. I know he hasn't solved that John Jones puzzle yet, but truly a special striker. And in terms of the movement at 205 pounds on the feet, nobody does it better than this.
Underrated wrestling. One of the only guys that can say he's taken me down and also taken John Jones down in a championship.
All right, so here's the former UFC world title challenger, perennial heavyweight contender type, the Reem, Alistair Overeem. His crowning achievement, really, that K1 World Grand Prix Championship in kickboxing, still in search of that elusive UFC title.
No one expected him to win that kickboxing world championship, but he went out there and he beat some of the biggest names in kickboxing history. But once he was back in MMA, he has been a true and absolute savage. From becoming the Dream World Champion, becoming the Strikeforce heavyweight champion. He's done about everything you can do in the sport of mixed martial arts.
Of course, he made his UFC debut famously against Brock Lesnar. A lot of the recent wins for the Reem have come by knockout or TKO. He'll be chasing another highlight here tonight. How about the presence of Alistair Overeem? Has graced the octagon, he's ready to fight. A lot of the recent wins for the Reem have come by knockout or TKO. He'll be chasing another highlight here tonight. All right, he is the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. We talk so much about the state of this 135-pound division, how it's never been stronger, and yet this guy's starting to distance himself from the pack a little bit. Outstanding grappler, and more often than not, he's going to have a big advantage in that war.
Yeah, that's one of the things that separates Aljamain, is that he's one of those guys that tells you what he's going to do, and then he goes and he does it. Nothing's more discouraging for a fighter than to know what you have to defend and still not be able to defend it. Aljamain Sterling is a beast.
Now, he did hint to us in the fighter meeting that he thought he could win this fight without chaining takedowns, so perhaps we'll see a strike-heavy approach here from Sterling early. We shall see. The Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, finds himself in yet another big spot here tonight. The Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, finds himself in yet another big spot here tonight. All right, so here he is, one of the better offensive takedown guys we have in the UFC, DC, and if anyone is well-equipped to speak to this, it is you. The opponent knows what's coming. At least to this point in the UFC, no one's been able to stop him.
He just has to keep him away, because the moment this guy gets close enough to either grab a leg or make body contact, now you're in trouble. He has a knowledge and an understanding of position from a lifetime of just all grappling, judo, wrestling, sambo. He does it all, and he has just so many ways to get you to the floor. This guy once told me that if you can get your leg, he's going to finish. Because he's going to give you so many things to think about, you will not be able to process and keep up with him, and eventually you're on the mat. It's unbelievable to watch him apply that knowledge to the mixed martial arts fights.
And as the wrestlers say, this is not a guy you want anywhere near your bracket.
No, you don't want him in the bracket.
And now our tail of the tape for this light.
Eventually you're on the mat. It's unbelievable to watch him apply that knowledge to the mixed martial arts fights.
And as the wrestlers say, this... All right, here's the top 5 welterweight contender, Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. And I pause at calling him an overachiever, but there were a lot of people who didn't necessarily think that this man was going to vault into the top 5 and be the factor that he has become in one of the UFC's deepest divisions.
Well, when you're this committed, when you are so committed to your craft, and you have an iron will that you will be something special, you can accomplish anything. That's Bilal Muhammad. When you talk to him, you get a sense that this guy believes that he's the best in the world. He doesn't believe it. He applies the work ethic to it to make himself and give himself a chance. It has allowed for him to be exactly where he is today.
And now he believes he might just be one win away from his first shot at the UFC title. We'll see how it goes for Muhammad tonight.
He applies the work ethic to it to make himself and give himself a chance. It has allowed for him to be exactly where he is today.
And now he believes he might just be one win away from his first shot at the UFC title. We'll see how it goes for Muhammad tonight. Accomplished collegiate wrestlers of all time when it comes to pinfalls. This is a guy whose skill set has translated very well to mixed martial arts, and a very interesting UFC debut for Ben Askren. You have it no other way.
Ben Askren won that fight against Robbie Lawler in the most Ben Askren type of way.
Yes.
With a bulldog choke. He got slammed on his head, didn't go out, got up and got a bulldog choke to finish. A 2-time Hodge Trophy winner in wrestling, which is essentially the Heisman. He won that 2 years in a row on the Olympic team. I would wrestle Ben Askren myself when we were at the Olympic Games in Beijing, and you cannot understand the strength and the awkwardness of Ben Askren until you have felt it. He is truly a special athlete. Olympic team, I would wrestle Ben Askren myself when we were at the Olympic Games in Beijing, and you cannot understand the strength and the awkwardness of Ben Askren until you have...
All right, well, I'm excited for this one. This is a kickboxer of the highest order. He has so many different kicks and punches in his arsenal and figures to try to keep this on the feet here tonight.
The beautiful thing that he does is he throws that front push kick to create distance when a guy starts to get too close and wants to wrestle with him. He throws it, and the moment you're back at his range, he starts to blast high kicks. He doesn't always intend on landing them, but he beats up your arm with high kick after high kick after high kick. And as you get desperate, you start to run into knees, and he does not need much space to land a knockout punch. This guy is one of the best strikers we've ever seen in the UFC.
And if you don't find the striking range early against this guy, you could be in real trouble. Our tale of the tape for this middleweight fight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
This guy is one of the best strikers we've ever seen in the UFC.
And if you don't find the striking range early against this guy, you could be in real trouble. Well, this man has been there before, and he certainly looks like it. The #1 middleweight contender back in a championship setting, and we've talked about this a lot, but he made himself undeniable with this run back to contention. Now he tries to wrest away the gold.
That's not easy, John. It's not easy to make your way back because you have been there before, and maybe it didn't work out for you, but to stay positive, to have that steel trap of a mind that allows for you to rebuild yourself, makes you know when you do get back, you have a greater appreciation for the opportunity. Tonight he said he intends to finally cash in.
There are a lot of high-level guys at 185 pounds, a lot of contenders waiting in the wings. This challenger knows he has to maximize this opportunity in front of him tonight. A lot of high-level guys at 185 pounds, a lot of contenders waiting in the wings. This challenger knows he has to maximize this opportunity in front of him tonight. All right, so the latest title defense arrives here and now for the UFC's undisputed middleweight champion. And prevailing wisdom is it's going to take a huge effort out of the challenger tonight to dethrone this dominant king.
Absolutely. You do not beat this guy without being on your A game. And not even just your A game is going to get it done. You have got to overachieve in order to beat this guy. This guy is firmly entrenched as the best in the world. When you look at him, you know he's the best. From the way he carries himself, to the confidence, to the skill set. He's the champ, and he doesn't intend for that to change.
Seemed as though it was maybe a difficult weight cut or more difficult than once prior, but he didn't want to hear any of that noise in advance of this latest middleweight championship title defense. All right, with that, both fighters have now graced the octagon. They will lock the door behind them, ready to go with a crazy fight here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, folks, does not get a whole lot bigger nor better than this. UFC Light Heavyweight Championship fight is upon us, and all eyes are on the incumbent as he makes this walk for his latest title defense tonight.
He is walking once again as the light heavyweight champion of the world. The UFC's glamour division long has this been viewed as a division with the most talented guys because you're not quite heavyweight, you're just right underneath it. This guy is a champion in the highest order. He has defended this belt time and time again, and he intends to extend that streak tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't all that long ago that this belt was vacant. It was changing hands seemingly every other title fight. Now this man is holding it down and looking to dispose of another challenger properly tonight. Chuck Liddell. has graced the octagon. He is ready to fight. Our tale of the tape for this light heavyweight title fight. All right, so here he is, one of the more prolific takedown artists in the UFC at present. And when you get some praise from Daniel Cormier when it comes to your offensive takedown game, you know you're doing something right.
And we talk about wrestlers and judo players and grapplers, but this guy just combines all of that. He is able to use foot sweeps from the grappling game. He is able to use throws from judo, and he's able to use wrestling from the wrestling game to take people down. He has an array of takedowns at his disposal, and he uses every single one of them. From the speed of the level change to the timing to the knowledge of where to go next when the guy starts to defend, he's truly, truly something special.
I don't think he could take you down, but tonight he doesn't have to. So in this matchup, the prevailing wisdom is he'll be able to get this fight to the canvas. The Sandman, Corey Sandhagen, steps inside the octagon. He looks ready to go. And now our tale of the tape for this bantamweight fight.